Hi everyone, we're going to establish trig identities by multiplying by the conjugate. Since this side here is already basically in basic form, we're going to manipulate the left side of the equation and kind of break this down as 1 over cosine of theta minus sine over theta over cosine of theta. Now, since we have the same denominator, I'm just going to write it like this: 1 minus sine of theta over cosine of theta. Now, when you see this happen, where you kind of have, let me go ahead and write it over here, 1 minus sine of theta over cosine of theta, you see this flip-flop thing going on where the numerator switch, the denominator switch, but the sign is different. That's when you multiply by the conjugate. So what we're going to do is multiply the numerator by the conjugate. And recall that the conjugate is just 1 plus sine of theta. And if you multiply the numerator by the conjugate, you also have to multiply the denominator by the conjugate. All right? We know that this follows the a squared minus b squared equals a minus b times a plus b. So we have the a minus b, so this is just going to be, my a is 1 and my b is sine. So we get sine squared. And don't distribute yet, we're going to have cosine times 1 plus sine of theta. Alright? Also from your identities, you know that that is cosine squared. So you have cosine squared of theta over cosine, I should have had parentheses there, 1 plus sine theta. What happens is you have, this is like x squared over x. That just equals what? X. Okay, so basically you're going to get cosine over 1 plus sine, which is what we wanted. This is what we wanted here. Cosine of theta. Put the thetas in there. I always forget my thetas. I go too fast. Okay, over 1 plus sine of theta. Okay, so anytime you see this little flip-flop thing going like that, you're going to multiply by the conjugate. So let's do another one. It's the same thing. You might want to try it and pause the video first. So we get 1 over sine of theta minus cosine of theta over sine of theta. Alright, our common denominator is sine of theta, and we're just going to write 1 minus cosine of theta. So if you look at this, you already see this flip-flop thing going. 1 minus cosine of theta over sine. So that the numerators and denominators switched. This switched, but the sign changed. So what we're going to do is multiply by the conjugate. The numerator and the denominator. We know that the numerator is going to be 1 minus cosine squared of theta, based on our a squared difference of squares. And the denominator is going to be sine of theta times 1 plus cosine squared of theta, or cosine of theta. This equals sine squared theta all over sine theta times 1 plus cosine of theta. And I'm just going to write this out again. This sine squared theta, all that means is sine of theta times sine of theta. Now those cancel, and you're going to get sine of theta over 1 plus cosine of theta, which is what we wanted. Thank you. The next one we're going to do is factoring trinomials. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.